Hey, good morning, everybody. Should probably turn that light on. Last day of February. Man, it's crazy how this year has flown by so far. But let's get into some stuff. Alrighty, let's get into something. So, what an interesting weekend it was. Listen, this is I don't know. I mean, I talked to an acquaintance now. He's a very good kid. He has friends, family over in Ukraine. I mean, he was sending. We were talking about it. It's insane over there. I mean, I don't really have anything to say. It's going to be what it is, unfortunately. Hopefully it turns out without nuclear ramifications, but we're going to see. I was thinking last night and I'm just like, well, you know what? Somebody asked me, what's the percentage that this goes nuclear? I have no clue. Hopefully zero, but everything that Vladimir Putin said he's going to do, he's done, and multiply that by 100 so far. So I have no idea. But irregardless, let's see what we have going on. So Russia's currency, the ruble, plunged 30%. So Russia went ahead, and this picture is a line of people in Russia that is trying to pull cash out. Last time they had lines like this and mass exodus of cash from banks was 2020, which was the pandemic. So they raised their interest rates yesterday from 9.5% to 20% to try to stabilize the dollar. Not the dollar, the ruble. So we're going to see if it works. Listen, we're going to go through a bunch of stories right now that the world has shut off Russia. Their economy is screwed. I think even let's say that Russia just pulled back right now and just took everything out, went back to normal, said, Ukraine, you go do what you want to do. I still don't think that there would be a lot of business going on with Russia. They've put themselves in some kind of situation, and I do think that there is going to, yeah, they did misspell it. Hans, you know what? I was looking at that and I was like, I don't think that's the correct spelling. Thank you. But I do think that these ramifications from Russia are going to spread to the rest of the world in terms of energy, grains, semiconductors, chips, whatever you want to call them, etc. So let's keep going. The UK government will immediately take necessary steps to bring into effect restrictions that prohibit any United Kingdom natural or legal persons from undertaking financial transactions involving the Central Bank of Russia, the Russian National Wealth Fund, the Ministry of Finance from the Russian Federation. I also read another story. They are completely restricting Russian planes from any airspace. Private jets, commercial jets, it doesn't matter. You're not flying in a lot of airspace right now. And in another attempt to support the ruble, the Central Bank and the Finance Ministry also jointly ordered Russia exporting companies to sell 80% of their foreign currency revenues on the market. At the same time, it temporarily barred non-residents from selling the government obligations to ease the pressure from the ruble from panicked investors trying to cash out. That's one story. Okay, let's go to the next. By the way, there's like all bad news today, so sorry to depress you on a Monday, but I do have one good story coming at the end that might make everybody happy, but maybe not. I don't know. Russia's economy is poised to plunge into a recession. I don't see any other way. This is from JP Morgan. We tentatively assume that Russia's economy will contract 20% quarter over quarter, season adjusted annualized rate in Q2 for the year around 3.5%. But the margin of error for such guesstimate is incredibly high at this point because nobody has any idea what's going on. To be honest, I don't think that Vladimir Putin or any of the attackers have any idea what's going on. But the margin of error is incredibly high. So moreover, we believe that Russia's growing political and economic isolation will curtail Russia's growth potentially years to come. It's going to be for a while, I think. I don't think that companies are going to be very happy working with them as long as they have the administration that they have right now. The decision essentially denies Russia's access to financial markets globally. So we're going to talk about SWIFT. That's been a hot topic of conversation. Let's see here. Let's go to the next story. I want to do SWIFT first, and then we'll get into that stuff. So SWIFT. So what is it? Basically, it's a secured financial messenger that countries can send and people can send money back and forth through. So if you've ever sent a wire transfer, if you've ever sent an international wire transfer, more likely than not, definitely. Well, I shouldn't say more. There's a few countries that don't. So if you're listening and you're in some of those few countries that don't have it, then it's probably more likely than not. But since the 1970s, SWIFT has been the way to go if you're sending international wire transfers. And this is not just person to person. This is business to business. And these fly all day, every day. So shutting out SWIFT out of Russia is a big frickin' deal. The last time this happened, I believe, was 2012 with Iran when they were threatening to use nuclear weapons. So SWIFT serves as the largest global provider of financial messaging services, facilitates connections between needed payments across borders. A block of SWIFT server communication with the world is devastating. A national ban would cripple the country's ability to receive or send out payments. Oh yeah, good job. Look at me. 2000 and 2012. So, yeah. It's going to be hard for a lot of, it's not just going to be, they haven't done anything with SWIFT yet because they do not want to shut down. If you shut down SWIFT, you could shut down a lot of Europe. That's the problem. And then you could have global ramifications instead of just the ramifications that you're intending to have in Russia's economy. So, corporate America condemns Russia, what it means for the stock market. Here is an interesting story. Transport giants UPS and FedEx have suspended shipments into Russia. BP, this is wrong. I'm going to get into this person wrote this wrong. But they're divesting 19.75% stake in Russian-controlled oil. Nope, he's right. There was another story I got was wrong. That was from my local news. That's what it was. So BP has divested nearly a 20% stake in a Russian company called Rosneft, however you want to say it, however they say it. but it's going to come at a $25 billion charge for slashing the business that they've had out there for over 30 years. Intel and AMD have also suspended chip shipments into Russia. I do think that there's going to be ramifications because Russia does supply a lot of natural resources for chips. Here was an interesting point that this person wrote about the stock market. Who wrote this? Strategist Jonathan. I've never heard of his name. The SPX, which is the S&P 500, it's January lows, something we've been looking for. However, it didn't quite get to 4,000. Nor have we seen, and I talk about this all the time in the bid and ask, nor have we seen a 90% downside volume day this year. So I always like to look at average volume, and on those big selling days, and big buying doesn't matter. There's never average volume. On big selling days, just to see. So I'll just come over here. I'll click on the NASDAQ for the hell of it. So is volume. Okay, so when the market is open, let me show you. When the market is open, you have volume, and then right here you get a thing that says average volume, okay? And that's the average volume over the past, I think they do 30 days on Yahoo Finance. And I always like to see, so this is, let's say, 4 billion. There's average volume of 4 billion trades executed per day, or shares, trades, or whatever you want to call it, executed per day in the NASDAQ. And this number, if it's not 4 billion, let's say it's like 2.5 billion, that tells me if we have a massive down day, say this is minus 3%, I say, well, there was not that much volume, but the majority of that selling volume, the majority of maybe that 2.5 billion was all selling volume. If you only get a lot of selling volume, market's going to drop big time. And that's where you're going to get that minus 3%. What I like to see and what we saw during COVID was when you get minus 3%, you have an average volume of 4 billion and you have daily volume of 4 to 5 to 6 billion. That tells me that that minus 3% is legit. That's why I like checking volume on the indices like the S&P and the NASDAQ. The Dow, sure, I'll look at that too. But I mostly like to focus on the S&P and the NASDAQ, especially because the NASDAQ is the high flyer right now. So that's kind of what he's talking about in this little area. So if you come down and look at some of these companies, Etsy, Airbnb, I don't know who this person is. I didn't Google it. Tim Cook, he's gotten into it. Richard Branson's got into it. Callaway Golf, this is totally different. Maybe it's a little bit better story. Actually, it's not. It just has to do with the Saudis. So Callaway Golf, this person randomly wrote this article about why he thinks that Callaway Golf is going to be a good company going into the future. He went to a Top Golf, which is owned by Callaway Golf. I'm totally diverting right now off of Russia. So if anybody pays attention to anything in the sports world, Phil Mickelson said some things about the Saudi Golf Tour. KPMG, that was his biggest sponsor. They got rid of him. Callaway got rid of him. So maybe there will be some ramifications in Callaway today based on that. Go take a look. I think it's ELY is the ticker symbol. So anyways, BP. So here's the BP story. BP quits Russia in up to a $25 billion hit on the Ukraine invasion. So BP is abandoning its stake in Russian oil giant Rosneft in an abrupt and costly end to a 3-decade operating agreement between the two, well, one country and one business. But Rosneft accounts for half of BP's oil and gas reserve and a third of its production, divesting the 20%, 19.75% stake. It's going to cost $20 billion because there's an $11 billion carry charge in there. This was, I just found it funny that BP was the company that came out on Tuesday and said, we're going to stay non-political. We're not going to do anything with this. And then all of a sudden they do jump into it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's hypocritical. Toyota suspends all Japan factory operations after suspected cyber attack. It's just bad news after bad news. They're like the new Boeing. Toyota said it will suspend all Japanese factory operations on Tuesday, losing around 13,000 cars after the company supplying plastic parts and electronic components was hit by a suspected cyber attack. The attack comes after Japan joined Western allies in clamping down on Russia due to its invasion of Ukraine. Although it was not clear if it was at all related, Toyota earlier this month had stopped production in North America because of the trucker thing in Canada. So it's just bad news after bad news. Okay, here's your good news of the day. Netflix is coming out with some new stuff. And I basically did this so everybody would just be able to like sit up in their chair instead of slouching and being depressed. So let's see if I care about any of this. I haven't read it yet. What do we have? Oh, this Bridgerton show. It comes out. Bridgerton season 2, March 25th. So that's exciting. What else do we have? The Andy Warhol Diaries. I'm sure some people will like that. What else? Coach Carter. That was a good movie. The Green Mile. Never saw it. The Shawshank Redemption. Great movie. Is this coming on or off? What's coming? Oh, cool. Let's see. Shrek and Shrek 2. That's good. Top Gun. Okay. What else do we have here? Power Rangers. Dino Fury. That sounds sick. Let's see. Chip and Potato. Okay. The Andy Warhol Diaries. Man, they come out with a lot of content. I feel like they've really stepped up their game of content. Let me know if anybody else feels that way. But man, there's a lot of stuff on there about like murder and like rape. And I'm just like, what is going on here? I just pull up my thing and it's just like, what is going on here with all of the killings and everything? But whatever. That's that for that. All right, let's go to the next thing. Let's look at the bond yields. They're falling drastically right now. I'm sure this has something to do with I'm sure this has something to do with what's happening in the Ukraine. I'm sorry, with Russia and their interest rates. Lucid reports after the bell tonight. Zoom reports after the bell. That should be fun. What's this company? Lordstown, they reported before the bell, minus 8%. Remember, what's their names are buying their factory, Foxconn. So that'll be interesting. If you want to join the software, you get all of this, plus you get the chat, which is 6,000 plus people that you get to talk to. $30 a month gets you access to that. You also get, if you want to join the Bid and Ask Nation with me trading, you get $80 per month gets you that. There's going to be several day trading sessions this week. I'm going to be jumping in on Wednesday and doing that. That's as my schedule permits. So $80 a month gets you that. Jump in, learn the rules, watch me trade, learn from me, and then go out there and make a killing yourself. Okay, let's do some questions and answers, and we will go from there. What year is it with those movies? Yeah, you're right about that. Is Netflix a buy pre-COVID level? I do not think so. What do we have here? What else do we have here? All right, so the Foot Locker thing. Everybody just keeps asking about Foot Locker. We made a video about it the other day. For me personally, if you guys have been watching this for any length of time, you know that I wouldn't say I was a believer, because I even think if you go back and look at my comments in videos from a year ago, I wasn't always sold on the company, but now I'm not sold on the company. I don't have puts on them. I'm not investing in them. They lost 75% of their inventory from Nike. Nike has decided to do more business to consumer on Nike.com, the sneakers app, anything that they're going to be giving. This is what I've heard from Nike. I don't know if it's actually executed, but this was their vision. Anything that they do with Foot Locker, Dick's, any third-party company is going to be exclusive, more exclusive stuff. So it won't just be a general Nike shirt. It'll be a general Nike shirt that you can only buy at Dick's in this color, or only buy at Foot Locker in this color, whatever. So I don't believe in malls. I think they have a terrible online presence. Like, I don't see anything good in Foot Locker right now except for the valuation. So I could be totally wrong. There's no doubt, but whatever. You're consolidating down here from 2000 and basically 17 and 2020, which was COVID levels. So you're back down to these COVID levels. Listen, if you want to do something with this from a value play, go for it. If you want to do something with this from a trading play, don't do anything right now on either chart. I would just wait, let things play out, let a consolidation channel develop, and go from there. Matt Groves, suck it, Mo. Well, first of all, at least you can spell my name right, but right back at you. You can suck it too. Any thoughts on Alibaba's earnings? Yes, I thought Baba's earnings were perfectly fine. Their user growth grew. Their profit was fine. Their revenue was fine. I mean, what do you expect? Do you think they're going to get 40% revenue forever? No. We put in 8 to 10% revenue on our assumptions when we purchased it, and they're going to be hovering above 8 to 10% for quite some time. Most important part, usership grew. When you have China that shuts down, and also when you have China that shuts down because of COVID, you also have supply chain issues. You have all of these issues. You have geopolitical issues that are happening with China. I thought everything was perfect. Well, not perfect, but I looked at their earnings report and I was like, oh, cool, sure. Punish the stock more. Go for it. Whatever you want to do. So Alibaba, still same thing though. I'm not trading it. I've been telling you guys this for months and months and months. This is purely a value play, and we'll go from there. All right, what's next? Dun 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 dun. CVX oil. Oil, this is Chevron. Let's see what's going to happen with the oils today. So they're going to pop a little bit on all this news. So we're approaching all-time highs. So here we go. All-time highs. You had a good engulfing candlestick on Friday. And I think I talked about this on the Friday show. So if you do get that, I mean, this is great. If you get an engulfing candlestick today, go for it. Keep adding to it. I think I said add to this on Friday if you got an engulfing candlestick. Or maybe that was Thursday. And you did. Looks good. So let's go look at BP because everybody's talking about that one. With their yank out of Russia. So the stories that I've read from the company, they said nothing's going to change for them. Of course, they're going to say that right now. From everybody else, they're saying that their renewable energy will be impacted into the future. That's not their big money driver. The big money driver is their oil, gas. I mean, that's what I'm more focused on. I would like to see how this is going to play out going forward. For me right now with BP, I ain't touching it. This is way too much news for me. Everything could come out tomorrow and everybody will be like, oh, this move wasn't that bad. And it can come right back up here. Who knows? That's why I don't recommend anybody doing anything in it today. What else do we have? Uber. We'll look at Uber and then we'll look at the airlines because somebody said airlines and I'm interested to see those. So Uber consolidating in its consolidation channel from little bit of post-COVID. We're going to see what's going to happen here. I think in their last earnings report, they said that we're going to have their usership is getting back to what it was. So that's cool. But if you want to do anything with it, I would just wait until this red line and yellow line move into the sweet spot and start making a climb to the top side. You'll probably be able to get to the 50-day moving average. And then, I don't know. It's going to take some volume to get there. All right, I'll do coals and then I'll do the airlines. KOH, because if I don't do coals and then or if I do the airlines and I don't do coals, it's going to be bad. I'm just going to forget. All right, coals. This has been one of the most volatile stocks because of everything that's happening with activist investment. Activist investing. So activist investing is when hedge funds will go in and try to do hostile takeovers of companies to grab board seats and restructure the company from within. And that is what has been going on with Kohl's. So big flagpole up here, came right back down. No surprise there. Here's the deal. If you want to trade this thing, I don't recommend trading it because you can get any kind of news that comes out from these activists and the stock could just plummet on you. Plus, look how terrible that volume is relative to the average volume over the last I don't know, month and a half or whatever. So just be careful with that one. Just be careful with that one. Okay, what was the next one we were going to do? American Airlines. American Airlines. Okay, beaten down. I'm going to pull up Jets right after this. So where was COVID? COVID was right in here. So not there yet, but this is a 50% stock. So here's your high. Here's your low. Let's draw the 50%. And there's a 50% roll. With the exception of that bump that it got in the beginning of last year, you're right back down and you can't break through $20. That's it. You can't break through $20. So if you want to try to swing trade this and try to swing trade this when it gets into the sweet spot and run it up to $20 and exit, then you can do that. But you're not going to get much higher than $20 unless something crazy comes out. Maybe actually if they get rid of the FAA gets rid of the federal mask mandate on planes on March 18th, which is the date, you might get a bounce in these stocks. I have no idea. I don't really think that would make any sense, but markets go on crazy news like that. So who knows? What was I going to look at? Jets. Jets. Same deal. Same deal with Jets. Excuse me. Same deal with Jets. Okay, let's draw the line. High, low, middle ground. Couldn't break through it except for summer, and here we are back down here. It's the exact same thing. It's all 50% roll stuff. This is going to be able to get to about $22 where it's sitting at right now, the 100-day moving average, maybe 23, and all airlines are going to be in the same boat. If we pull up United Airlines, it's going to be exactly the same thing. Okay, United Airlines, here's your high, here's your low, here's the middle ground, here was that pop in the summer. Can't break through that certain level, which is pretty much a 100-day moving average. So all airlines are basically the same right now. AMD, this is one that I wouldn't be surprised to see them get hit a little bit today. Yeah, because they said that they're going to pull or stop selling to Russia or whatever we just said in that article. I can't really remember what I said. So let today happen. Let's see what happens. Let's see if this thing can move into a solid trend up. It's going to face resistance below 135. It's going to face resistance at the 100-day moving average. This has a long way to go. I think I'd rather come over here and swing trade this and see if you can swing trade this up to about 130 and go from there. Next, let's see. Green Mile is a must watch. Is it? Is Green Mile the one where they like eat people or something? I think I remember like my third grade teacher telling me about that. Okay, PayPal. Look at that, guys. PayPal is back to COVID levels. It's $109. This is another one I'm not so sure about. Numbers are beautiful, but I'm just not so sure about it. I just don't know. But had I told you in July of 2021, the summer, when this was at $309, that you would be $200 lower today, would you have believed me? No, I don't think you would have believed me. Hold on one second. Hello? Hey, Savannah, I'll call you back in like 5 minutes. Bye. Alrighty. Let's see. Bank stocks? Yeah, let's run through some banks. Let's do Goldman Sachs. Goldman is getting the beat down. All banks are getting the beat down right now. Let's see what happens. So they dropped right back down. What this could be is W formation happening. So we're going to see. The trend is looking really good right here. The volume is starting to come in right here. Let's see. Let's see. Soylent Green is people. Yeah, that's the movie. That's the one. That was the teacher. Your Peyton knows the way to Peyton knows the way to get a question. All right. Consolidating here, head and shoulders pattern. Yeah, so this is a head and shoulders pattern. I foresee this coming down in this realm. Yeah, I foresee this coming right back down. So this is a head and shoulders pattern. Let me draw it a little bit more nicely. Head, so here's your person. Here's your shoulder. Here's your shoulder. Typically, after head and shoulders patterns happen like that, you get a fall like that. And that is exactly what we're seeing right now. Who asked me that question? Peyton? PLD. Perfect. What is this? Palladium or something? Prologis. Okay. Again, not really a head and shoulders pattern, but let me pull up a line chart here. Oh, wow. All right. So it's not the worst thing in the world. Be careful of this. I would take profits on this. I would take some profits here. I wouldn't be surprised to get a little pullback like this and then a fire forward. But you want to be in the sweet spot before you do anything here. So, yeah. If Savannah were subscribed, I'm going to have to tell Savannah after this, you need to subscribe so you know when I'm on. Oh, let's do the SPY. Let's not do the SPY. SoFi, do they have enough information here? So when did they go public? So they've been public for a little over a year. Here's the problem. Okay, here we go. Let me blow this up. Here's the problem. So here was when they IPO'd. Here's where they are now. This candle that happened on Thursday, it's very hard for me to say because any level that we get to below here, there's no chart in here, and I'm not circling the stochastic. I'm circling that there's no chart between 0 and $10.67. So I don't like it. Plus, they have earnings coming up when? Probably looks like it's this week. Maybe it's tomorrow, March 1st. So it's tomorrow night. So be careful with this one. Okay. Logitech. LOGI. So Logitech, I want to make sure that they have the volume. Let's go back to okay. So here's why I don't like Logitech. Also, there's something with Logitech. Like, they had an incredible run up. They're back to COVID levels right in here. I think that all of this had to do with people staying at home, and they're right back down. So good company. Just make sure you know what you're doing with this one. I don't like the volume. This is why I wouldn't trade this one. 734,000 shares traded per day. You guys know that I like 1 million plus shares traded per day. And this is too popular of a company to be flying under the radar. AXP, American Express, all-time highs, I assume. Yeah, all-time highs, running just up there. It's going to open down a little bit today. So I wouldn't touch this thing if I was you until you made a new all-time high. That's the next time that I would go for something like this. Now on a swing trading chart, if you want to try to get an engulfing candlestick today and run it up to $200, you can certainly do that. But long-term, you should not be jumping into this for the first time. Tesla, guys, smash the like button for me. That would be lovely. Tesla. So Tesla's getting beat down. It's completely come back below that 200-day moving average, completely come down to that 800 level, like I said, and people probably thought I was nuts. But that was the consolidation area. Now the next level that this is going to come to is 550 to 650, and then it'll come down here back to 400s. This is going to happen. Was this COVID? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing fall. I do think that they're the best tech company, best car company at handling everything right now in the world, but you still have issues. So that's it. Facebook, Meta Platforms. When are they changing their ticker symbol to Meta? So they're going to open at $208. Listen, here's the deal. Well, it's kind of getting worse, but I really like this gap that needs to fill. And I always said that there were no moving averages between the gap that needs to fill. Right now, you're still clear of the 50, so it's only the 25. But as days go on, as the price stays down, these moving averages, these 3 moving averages up here, will move down and be some type of resistance. But it's not the worst case in the world. We'll see what happens. Defense stocks are soaring today. Market's now open. So let's look at Northrop Grumman. I think it's NOP. No. Northrop. NOC. That's it. So I'm going to look at the 3. I'm going to look at Raytheon. Yeah, Northrop Grumman is just soaring. I mean, this is what you get when talks of war are coming in. Let's look at Lockheed Martin. I'm sure this is doing the same thing. Soaring. And let's look at Raytheon. I think it's RTX. And I'm sure this is doing the same thing. Yep, gapped up. So if you are in any of those, take profits on them. Consider yourself lucky. Take profits on them. He had admitted Tesla is tech. Did I say that? Did I say the best tech company in the world? Freudian slip. I actually think they're a tech company, JK. But they are the best car company in the world right now at handling the tech disruption. Absolutely, no doubt about it. You know when I thought that Tesla is the best at handling this? Is when I found out that in their fourth quarter earnings call, Elon said, instead of us dealing with the chip shortage like everybody else is, we went and found chips that were not in shortage, and we reprogrammed all of our software to be modified to fit those chips that we actually could get. That's when I was like, okay, this is the best car company in the world right now at adjusting to this chaos that's happening. They are forward thinking and they get it. And they're not completely old fuddy-duddies. Now, does that mean that I would go and buy the stock? No, not yet, but who knows what level it'll be. I have to think that they're delivering enough cars and making money now where at some point I'm going to be able to say, yeah, at X price, they're doing something that I believe in and that I believe that I could put a valuation on. Right now, I don't know. I'd like to see maybe a little bit more, especially because we're going through this chaos right now of crisis with the chip shortages and everything. But they are certainly more promising than Toyota that just gets shut down and shuts down every factory every 2 days because they can't handle it. So that's it, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, same time, same place, 23 and a half hours. Everybody have a wonderful day and catch you on the flippity flop.